A chariot of fire comes down from heaven and takes a prophet into the sky, and all that's left is his cloak on the ground. Kings crumble. Idols rise. God's not silent. He's just not speaking through kings anymore. Second Kings is about the fall of Israel and Judah, from prophetic fire to royal failure, from last chances to total collapse. Second Kings isn't just about a record of bad leadership. It's a roadmap of how a nation forgets God and what happens next. Second Kings hits you like a brick. No warm-up. Elijah, the prophet who made kings sweat and idols look pathetic, is gone. Not dead, taken. Fire flashes, wind roars, and he's pulled into the sky. No goodbye, no grave, just a cloak on the ground. And Elisha, his apprentice, staring at an empty horizon. What now? That's the question hanging over him, and a nation already falling apart. Elijah wasn't just a prophet. He was a one-man war against everything dragging Israel down. He called out kings. He exposed fake gods. On Mount Carmel, he faced 450 prophets of Baal, soaked an altar with water, and watched God torch it to prove who's real. Think you've seen power? That was Elijah. But now he's gone, and Elisha's left holding a legacy nobody could carry. Israel's a mess. Kings are corrupt, idols are everywhere, and the people who should lead are either clueless or compromised. Who's running this show? Not the palace, not the priests, God's voice. But it's coming through one prophet, Elisha. He doesn't flinch, grabs the cloak, walks to the Jordan River, and smacks the water. It splits. Boom. God's still here. It's not a stunt, it's a signal. The same power that backed Elijah is with Elisha. God, these names are so similar. But he's not chasing clout. His miracles are raw, practical. Poison water? Fixed. Widow about to lose her kids to debt? Oil multiplied, bills paid. Dead child? Raised, no fanfare. Why does this matter? Because in a decaying culture, Elijah's not preaching, he's saving lives. But don't think he's soft. A gang of punks mocks him, yelling, "Go up, Baldy." They're not just disrespecting him, they're spitting on God's prophet. Elijah curses them. 2 bears ripped through 42 of them. Harsh? Maybe. But it's not about ego. It's about a nation that's so far gone, they mock the one guy God's using. What's the cost of that? A kingdom on life support, and nobody cares. Elijah's miracles are lifelines, but they're also warnings. God's real, even if this place forgot. This sets the stage. God's not done, but he's not working through the usual suspects. Kings are failing, idols are winning, and the only ones still listening? Prophets like Elisha. What's that tell you? When the system's broken, God picks the outsiders. Israel's not just falling apart, it's imploding. How bad is it? The northern kingdom's a revolving door of terrible kings, each worse than the last. Idolatry is not a problem, it's the culture. Golden calves, Baal shrines, Asheroth poles, they're everywhere. The covenant with God? Forgotten, like an old letter nobody reads. Think they'd notice? Nope. They're too busy bowing to fake gods and making bad deals. The prophets keep shouting. Elisha is pulling miracles left and right. Later, Amos and Hosea beg Israel to wake up. Does anybody listen? Barely. The throne's a mess. Coups, assassinations, chaos. By the time Hosea, the last king, shows up, Israel's done. He tries to play smart, paying off Assyria while flirting with Egypt on the side. Guess what? Assyria's not dumb. They sniff out the betrayal and march on Samaria in 722 BC. 3 years of siege, starvation, desperation, no rescue. The city falls, and Israel's over. Assyria doesn't just win, they erase. Thousands of Israelites are deported, scattered across their empire. Foreigners move in, mixing pagan gods with whatever's left of Israel's worship. The land of God's people becomes a spiritual dumpster fire. Why'd this happen? They sinned against the Lord, their God. They served idols. Not bad strategy, not weak armies, sin. Sound familiar? They had centuries of warnings, prophets, miracles, close calls. They ignored it all, got comfortable with evil. They thought they'd outsmart God. They didn't. What's brutal is how predictable it was. God didn't hide the consequences. He sent Elijah to shake them. What'd they do? Shrugged. Kept building idols, kept chasing power. What's the lesson? You can't keep spitting on truth and expect to stand. Israel didn't lose a war. They lost who they were. And when they forgot that, no alliance saves you. If you've ever wondered what a nation looks like when it stops caring, this is it. This story is brought to you by Wayfarers Loreworks, the sacred art studio behind every image you see. And now, for the first time, these illustrations are available for purchase. Each piece is a visual relic, forged from scripture, steeped in legend, crafted to carry awe into your home. Explore and collect at wayfarerschase.com. See the scripture, frame the legend. Judah is still standing, but don't call it holy. The southern kingdom's on borrowed time. Israel's already dust, so why does Judah last longer? A few kings actually try, but even the good ones can't stop the rot. So what's the vibe? A mix of half-hearted faith and full-on rebellion, with Babylon waiting in the wings. Hezekiah is a rare win. He's not perfect, but he's real. He takes the throne and starts smashing. Pagan altars, high places, even a bronze serpent Moses made that people turned into an idol. That's bold. He reopened the temple, restored worship, and praise when trouble hits. Assyria, fresh off of wiping out Israel, comes for Jerusalem. What's Hezekiah do? Doesn't negotiate, prays. And God shows up, big. One angel takes out 185,000 Assyrian soldiers overnight. Jerusalem's spared. Should have changed everything, right? It didn't. Hezekiah messes up big time. He flaunts Judah's wealth to Babylon's envoys. Guess who's watching? Babylon. That mistake plants a seed. Then Manasseh, Hezekiah's son, takes over. Worst king ever? Probably. He rebuilds every idol his dad destroyed, sets up Baal and Ashtaroth altars inside the temple, dives into witchcraft, child sacrifice, the works. How bad is it? He makes Judah worse than the nations God kicked out of Canaan. He rules for 55 years, long enough to poison everything. He repents late, but the culture's gone. Can you undo that? Not really. The people are numb, and evil's normal now. Josiah's the last hope. He's 8 when he starts, but by his 20s, he's all in. Workers find the book of the law, probably Deuteronomy, during the temple repairs. Josiah hears it and loses it. Why? He sees how far Judah's fallen. He repents, smashes idols, fires pagan priests, and restarts the Passover. It's a revival. Feels like a comeback, right? It's not. The people follow, but their hearts aren't in it. When Josiah dies fighting Egypt, everything collapses. His sons are weak and corrupt, or both. What's next? Babylon's coming, and this time, no one's praying. Jerusalem's end is ugly. How ugly? Picture walls crumbling, the temple burning, and a king watching his sons die before his eyes are gouged out. Babylon doesn't play. They siege Jerusalem in 587 BC, and there's no miracle this time. The city starves, the walls fall, the temple, God's house, the heart of Judah, is looted, torched, and gone. Feel that? It's not just a building, it's the end of an era. The palace, smashed. The people, dragged to Babylon, hundreds of miles from home. Zedekiah, the last king, tries to run. Does he make it? Nope. Babylon catches him, slaughter his sons in front of him, then blind him. That's his last memory, his family's death, his kingdom dust. The elites are exiled, the poor stay, scraping by in ruins. What's left? Nothing. The Davidic promise, a king forever, looks finished. The covenant? Broken. The land? Empty. 2 Kings doesn't let you dodge the truth. This isn't Babylon's fault, it's Judah's. Why? They chose idols over God, ignored prophets like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, had miracles, warnings, revivals. What'd they do? Kept sinning. They thought the temple made them bulletproof. Sound cocky? It was. God gave them centuries to turn back. They didn't. What's the takeaway? You can't outrun consequences forever. What's worse is how normal it all felt. No big villain moment, just years of small choices. Idols here, compromises there. By the time Babylon showed up, Judah was already hollow. You ever seen a society like that? It's not one bad day, it's 1,000 bad decisions nobody thought mattered. Judah's fall wasn't a shock, it was obvious. What's obvious in your world right now? You'd think 2 Kings would end in ashes. It doesn't. What's the last scene? Jehoiakim, an exiled king, gets out of prison in Babylon. Not a hero, not a ruler, just a guy eating at the king's table, but he's alive. And why does that matter? Because he's not nothing. He's a Davidic line, and God's promise is holding true. It's not a happy ending. Judah's in chains, the temple's gone, the land's empty. But this one detail, Jehoiakim surviving, says God's not done. You feel that tension? The story stops in this mess, not the victory. The covenant's alive, but it's an exile, carried by a broken people in a foreign land. What's God doing? He's working through the unexpected, like always. Pray for me, and I for you. Keep looking up. If this hit you deeper than expected, there's more. Check the full playlist to follow the story, from Genesis to Revelation, book by book, breath by breath. Subscribe if you haven't, and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. This is a very long road, and we're just getting started.